So I want to talk about some stuff. All right. So I'm new to this. Welcome, Daniel and Pineapple. Where are you guys hailing from? I guess it's. I mean, there's English names here, but I don't know if it's too likely you're from the United States. Sort of strange timing. Yeah, Australia. Okay, yeah, sort of figured. Is Australia in the same time zone as China? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Okay. Um, what about you, Daniel? Twitch Prime. Nice. It's 8 in Australia? Oh, yeah. Okay. Right. Serbia. Nice. Well, okay. I guess there's some trouble going on in Serbia right now. But cool that you guys are tuning in. All right, Vancouver. All right. I'm not even too sure how many people are watching right now. I have the chat popped out. Let's see. Yeah, I can't really check at the moment. Oh, Serbia. Oh, I read that wrong. Right. Syria. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, Serbia is a European country. That's for sure. Nice. And India too. Okay. Nice guys. So I'm gonna take a look at some stuff here on this analysis board, and one of the rectangles here is still blacked out, and I'm gonna put the 4-player chess in-game chat there when we get to it. But I have this analysis board up right now to show you some stuff, show you some tips and tricks. Basically, I just use this on chess.com because I can move any piece anywhere I want, and I can just set up sort of positions I want. And I'm not going to worry about black right now. I'm going to talk a little bit about 4-player chess, king safety, because I think that's a hot topic. And I've seen a lot of different players using different, I'm going to call them fortresses for king safety. There's another game called shogi, which is a Japanese chess game, and in that game, a lot of it is about actually English Crazy House is derived from shogi. A lot of it is about creating a fortress for your king so that it will take sort of a long time to break it. And in 2-player chess, that's not very important because as long as you can't be broken immediately, you always have a chance to respond. But in 4-player chess, you could be attacked. If you're attacked by all 3 players, okay, there's probably no fortress that can withstand that. But if you're being attacked by 2 players, there are some fortresses that could allow you to withstand that, given that you have more material in them to start out with. So here's some of the fortresses that are useful, okay, in this game. And keep in mind, building a fortress in this game is not enough in and of itself. You also have to get a material advantage somehow. Okay, so that, I mean, some of that will come from you not making mistakes and your opponent making some mistakes. And some of that will come from you promoting pawns. So obviously you do need to promote some pawns to win the game usually. But basic fortress that I like to use, is to move the A pawn up, and that's to prevent. Well, that will give you an advantage against the player to your left. Okay, sometimes you'll be doing it on the right. Basically, move the queen's rook pawn up too. Okay, and have these 3 pawns like this, such that your queen is protecting the most backward pawn, and these 2 pawns in the front have their own protection. Okay, and then as for your king side, to fianchetto the king's bishop, castle and bring this rook out. You can develop this bishop to a fianchetto diagonal as well, and then bring this knight back to your f1 square, and then you can just sort of start promoting pawns like this, all the time keeping them with only 1 weakness, okay, down here, until you're ready to actually go for the promotion. So you'll have 1 pawn on the 6th rank, and it will need to move 2 more squares to promote, but it will be protected until you're ready to make that 2 It'll be protected by a pawn until you're ready to make that push. And as for the king side here, you can see that normally the place to attack would be this pawn. Obviously, the frontmost pawn would be very hard to attack, even for 2 players. And now this h pawn will also be almost impossible to attack for even 2 players. Okay, sometimes you could even put it here, but here it's got the protection of 2 knights and a king, so hard to attack. And your knight here has the protection of the bishop and queen. Okay, sometimes you could even leave this pawn back to give additional protection. But then obviously there's always going to be a trade-off between how many queens you can make and how safe you can make your position, right? So, if I don't move any pawns ever, I could probably create an even safer king by, maybe, moving this bishop back and around. And I don't know even what I could do. I haven't thought about this too much, but, you might be able to create some sort of like, master safe position over here for your king. In fact, this actually does look pretty good. I might try this out one time if I have enough time. But there is some move limit restriction, right? If it takes like 20 moves to set up your fortress, then you're probably going to be too far behind in pushing your pawns. But normally in regular chess, you won't have as much time to set up a fortress just because your opponent will be breaking through the center early. In 4-player chess, no one likes to trade, so you do get a little bit more time to set up that fortress. So there's the one I just looked at, and then let me reset this. Okay, I'm going to show another fortress now, if I can get back to my analysis. Let me just re-click on analysis again. I don't know how to get back. Take a quick look at the chat too here. Do I vary opening depending on what others play? Certainly yes. So if the person directly across from you is going for a fast pawn opening, you might have to go for a fast pawn opening too in order to prevent them from promoting early. Okay, and of course the way the pawns interact, like especially the rook pawns, will determine how you can lock it off with another player. And keep asking questions, guys, because that's the purpose of a live stream, interaction. So, bam, that's what we're doing today. I actually just got in YouTube mode for a little bit, and I was discussing something without looking at the chat. So, if I do that too much, please call me out. Anyway, so let's look at another fortress. Okay, sometimes this is the fortress I will use depending on whether my opponent to my right might, fianchetto his king's bishop before me. I don't want to offer this trade of king's bishops. And it'd be easier to see if I had a chess4 analysis board, but I do not. Okay, that does not exist yet, so I'm just using this as an example. But in that case, okay, you're going to have to block off that bishop from attacking your diagonal here. And then fianchettoing after that is a bit weak, so something I would like to do instead is bring this knight out normally. Why is that not working? Oh, right. Okay, bring this knight out. Okay, you can set up on this diagonal with the queen and bishop battery. And then there are a couple choices for your queen side pawns, but basically your king side is going to be a castled king, and then this bishop, the dark squared bishop could fianchetto, it could not. But this knight eventually wants to land over on this g3 square, and this is a nice little protective castle as well. Okay, sometimes you might even preclude the castle and you just start here, move the king to f1, move the king to g1, and move the rook up to h2 if you're really feeling worried about it. Okay, and then depending on the situation, obviously you're going to want to move your pawns forward as much as you can safely to make queens, but that will depend on exactly where you go. Okay, what is the best way to improve? I've only played for 2 weeks and have a rating of 850. And this is from Pineapple. Okay. For pineapple, I would say if you're 850, um, you have the luxury of being able to improve every part of your game. So that comes from tactics, okay, noticing when players are attacking you. 4-player chess, there's a big board. Okay, most of the time you just have to look at to the left and to the right. Those are the players that can easily access you. Usually the player across from you and you will be on a sort of truce in the beginning, um, because it's just hard to attack each other. And so tactics coming from two sides at once, first of all. Okay, and then because there's tactics coming from two sides at once, you need to take into account, well, what if the person to my left takes one of my pieces? Okay, then the person to my right can also take one of my pieces, and I can only recapture one of those. So a lot of the time, the person to your left is someone you want to ignore, in that you're not going to allow any trades with them. You want to block everything off until you know that the right person will not, be able to opportunize from that. So if the person to your right is attacking to the person above you, then you might be able to do something to the person to the left of you. But until that's the situation, you don't want to do that. Okay, so I talked about king safety. I gave some examples of how to make a safe space for your king. Tactics. And then just you want to also realize that there are timing windows at which you can promote pawns. So, if there's one person stopping you from promoting pawns, then as soon as they start getting attacked, you might be able to just go promote one, right? You have to look at each situation, case by case, and I'll try to go through that. And I feel like that is definitely much more of an experience thing and something you can, for example, watch me or other good players. Okay, there's always good players playing. Does this feel like a first date? Well, I did get a haircut today, and the guy, he put some like spray in my hair, so yeah, a little spiffed up. A TNS dip. Okay, TNS dip also asks, he's finding the middle game difficult to maneuver through without losing a lot of time. Is there a certain way to get through each move? Yeah, I mean, use your opponent's time to your advantage, first of all. Especially considering the candidate moves of the people who can directly affect you. So you don't have to pay as much attention usually to the person across from you, towards the opening. And another small suggestion I would have is that in the opening you want to make important but not urgent moves. So like blocking it off with the person to your left with pawns is a good one, because you're not going to have time to do that in the middle game where things are getting traded everywhere. Okay, and Rahul is talking about another player, Dubious Skills. Yeah, I know about Dubious Skills. I saw his YouTube before, so I think he's a pretty good player. And he puts knights on f3 and f4. Okay, I have not tried that, so I don't know. I'm not sure the path. If you put a knight on f3, what's the path for the knight from b1 to f4? Right, that would be like here, here, and here, I guess. Yeah. Okay, I'd like to test that out sometime. Sounds fun. Okay, Corvindizen says, how often do you see teaming up against a player that is gaining advantage? It seems like a good idea, but on a 1400 level, it never happens. Do you see it appear on some level? Yeah. So I can say, I mean, I'm not sure about exactly what ratings do what, because there's always, more rating inflation coming into the game. It used to be that 1400 was like a really good rating, and that everyone at 1400 played well. But as more people join, obviously the rating distribution can widen. And I would say right now at 1400, if you're seeing that people don't team, you need to adjust your play to that. And you can't assume, you have to be a little bit more conservative. You can't assume that someone will help you team. Okay, Leo Vinci says Dubious Skills is too defensive. I mean, I feel like sometimes I'm too defensive too. All right, but people are asking for the game to start, so let me at least go take a look at the window. Let me look here. All right, that actually looks a little bit off center. It's like you can't see the blue and yellow's time, right? So let's see if I can move it a little bit. Not that one. Turn analysis board off. Oh, that looks okay now. All right, so I turned off the analysis board. Got the 4-player chessboard there. Does that look good for everyone? No, Leo Vinci, I've definitely had games where I just sat there and didn't do anything. And that was the end result was I just lost because I didn't have enough points to like if you sit there and you're too defensive. I've experienced sometimes you can get into situations where you don't have enough time to go end the game with your superior material. You know, people will just claim wins. So yeah, okay. People are saying that looks good, and so I'm going to start the queue here. So we'll see. I'm not sure yet how we're going to do the distribution between playing games and problem is we can't really analyze games. I mean, I'll talk about what I thought were important points, but there's no analysis function yet for 4-player chess. But if there's any questions between games, I'll take some time to deal with that too. What is this? Is this red just immediately disconnected? That's insane. Okay, let me also get the other thing up, the chat, because people are already saying stuff in the chat here. Okay. Other problem with this though is I'm not going to be able to, if the chat keeps going down, I'm not going to be able to make it scroll down. I'm just copying the browser. So, but I'll say that this is a huge advantage for me in blue already. Okay. So now I have to decide if I think. Well, blue has to capture that bishop, right? He's in check. He can't move the king, so I can just take this. If he plays, let's see. Well, if he plays knight takes, that's okay. If he plays queen takes, I'll just take the queen. Yeah. Okay. Oh, he could have taken with the queen, and then yellow could have checked me, and he could have won this if they had really teamed up that well. But it didn't happen, so that's good. So I would criticize that decision by yellow because not only did he stopped blue from getting the king, but it's still not him getting the king, and he just lost one of his pieces. He traded, so and to boot, he's already in the middle, and he made blue angry at him. So he's already at a disadvantage in the beginning because he's in the middle, and we can easily promote these queenside pawns over here. He can't stop us. And now he's just making people angry. I don't know. So maybe he's just trying to make something happen because he's already losing. Oh, my pawn's getting attacked here. Let's defend that. This should be sufficient. Okay, so obviously really lucky here with the opening. Still got my work cut out for me though. Okay, I might get teamed here. I'm gonna try and make sure my king is gonna be safe, and then Well, maybe even next move I'll start trying to promote something. I'm actually thinking, is it better to... Let me check the chat here. All right, not much chat coming in. It seems that I can actually interact with the chat during the game. I was a little bit worried about that, but since Yellow's spending so much time, I can take a look here. But it might be hard since there's only 3 people in the game. It's less time that it's not my turn. Okay, so now I'm thinking blue might be trying to promote some stuff, and whether it will be advantageous to me to stop him or to go for my own stuff. I guess it really depends. Depends on what both blue and yellow do. Okay, but if both blue and I are trying to promote, I mean, I can see where this is going to end. Well, if yellow is always attacking blue, it might end well for me. I was going to say we're just going to meet in the middle and no one's going to promote. But if yellow is attacking blue, then I'll get there first, right? Like, I could not envision a better opening for this game. And the good news for me is no matter what, I beat a 1793 because he didn't connect. By the way, I'm excited for when they bring back the 2 versus 2 because then I can get some viewers into a 2 versus 2 game. So that'll be something we can do together. All right. What do you guys think about this game so far? Okay, now I can't move the pawn because there's a threat on my own queen. And I try to meet threats. Okay, there's several ways I could have met that threat, right? I could have moved my queen away, but I could also move out this pawn. Okay, and yeah, I didn't even see that, but that's fine. I could have met that threat by moving my queen, but in the end, I'm going to want to move my pawns forward anyway. So if you can meet a threat in several ways, try to find the best way to meet it. Okay. And now I can get a little bit of a battery going against blue's queen here. Yellow is now suiciding. Yellow's not having a good day. What's going on with the chat here? Not much. Okay. All right, so now blue's giving up his queen, or giving up his rook to save the queen. By the way, there's distinct possibility we could get 1900 today, which would be exciting. And if yellow times out, God, this is going to be the shortest game. All right, so let's see. Blue already has 17. Let me just take the king here. All right, so I don't have enough to resign yet. I'm close. Okay, blue is a bit more developed than I am, but he has the problem of not having an extra queen yet. Yeah, I mean, I can't really blame yellow for getting mad, but I can't say he played like a good sport either. You know, maybe that's the reason he's stuck at 1747, because he didn't try to make the best out of a bad situation. Okay. So now I think I want to bring out the next queen here and clear a path for this rook pawn. Yeah, I don't really feel any need to castle. This queen can also help me stop some other shenanigans coming from his pawns. And I would be perfectly happy with opening this file for my rook. Okay, looks like blue would not be happy with that. Alright, and now I can start moving this pawn. Problem for blue right now is he can't even move this pawn forward because I'll just sack my queen for this pawn, and if this queen trades for his rook, I can immediately resign. In fact, I could just right now do this. Let me try that, because now if he trades, I win, I can just resign, and if not, then I can take his rook and resign. So let's just do that. This will take me to 45 points. He'll have 23. I'll resign, he'll go to 43. It's fine. I'll claim win on my turn. Okay. Oh, already over 1900. Sick. All right, so yeah, it was probably one or two moves slower than it needed to be, but I didn't notice that at first. So let's see what happens here. Who's going to be the first mod? I think there already are a few mods from chess.com, or they're editors of my channel anyway. I guess I haven't assigned any mods yet. But I guess that will be based on, you know, who I can depend on to be here a lot of the time. And, you know, some of you who are already here for the first time, you're certainly candidates. And if that's something you're interested in, then let me know. Okay, especially if your availability is similar to this time, like every week. Okay, so about that game, yeah, not much to say about that game. Not much to say at all. Yeah, by the way, I will be uploading the whole stream to YouTube. Can't say how long that will take to upload, but I think it'll be about a 2-hour stream most times, at least to start out. So that should be at least a handful of games. So if you miss the stream, okay, obviously this isn't as useful telling it to the people who are watching the stream, but if you ever miss the stream, you can find it on YouTube, also on the Twitch VODs. It will be there. Okay. And looks like the scores and times are still visible. Let's see. I was angry and abused someone in chat. I received a message from the moderator. I don't know what chat you're talking about. I'm talking about this chat. R.A. Hulk. You did not say anything during this chat. You must be talking about the chat in 4-player chess, huh? No, I'm not ranked 10. No. I'll let you see the top 10 right now. There they are. I've never seen this player Rupestermine before, but he apparently made it to 2100. So congrats to him. I know this player WRAKU Raku. I'm just gonna say Raku, 89. He's a GM from a European country. I forget which one. It was either, I think, Ukraine. Might have been Ukraine. I think some of these players are like GMs or IMs, but most are just like you and me, right? You don't necessarily have to be a champ at 2-player chess to get on this leaderboard. So hopefully we can make it too. Oh wow. God. Let me get rid of this. I just saw the ratings. This could be a fast game, or I could just get teamed. This game, unfortunately, will not take me closer to the top 10, but it could take me much farther from the top 10. Oh yeah, this is also the first time I've been 1900, so that's cool. To get it as the first game on the stream, come on, can't do better than that. I'm gonna test the waters here. I'd like to see just how opposed green is to letting me queen. If he moves that pawn one more time, I'm not going to move anymore. For now. I mean, I think against lower rated players, it's okay to go for this type of opening because it's hard for them to make a coordinated effort against your pawn. People tend to coordinate much better at higher rankings. Okay, so green is adamant that I will not be queening, so I will not continue to waste time on that for now. Or to invest time in that right now, as my return on investment will not be that high. I'm actually going to block off this side now. Because otherwise you could have something like blue moving the knight in to double attack this pawn, green moving his pawn forward, and I'd only be able to respond to one. So that's actually sort of urgent now. Okay, yellow's in a good position. Next, I think I would like to fianchetto the king bishop, because blue is already in this diagonal, and I want to fianchetto it anyway. All right. Ooh. All right, this is the type of move that I'm really worried about against a 1200 because I don't know if he will trade or not. I'm actually really unsure. I'm going to take the safe path and protect. That could be wrong. That could very well be wrong. I guess one of the reasons I'm having this problem is I lost out on some development. Okay. I definitely don't want to trade that pawn. I will move forward though. So now if green captures, he's actively worsening his pawn structure. But now blue wants to check me, so I'm actually getting teamed here, unfortunately. So if blue takes and I recapture, and then blue checks, yeah, yellow could still do stuff to me here. I mean, blue's definitely going to check because he's just going to. And yellow's actually already ready to go on this, so I'm in a bit of a bind here now. Alright, I'm going to try this. Because if I took, no matter what I took with, if I took, I would be losing more material than if blue just keeps taking my pawns here. I imagine blue will just keep capturing. If blue doesn't keep capturing, that's a good deal for me. Sorry, green. Alright. But, this is the time I would be hesitant to start, giving up, guys. There is still a lot of chess to be played here. Okay, and then since green's going this direction, this pawn can act as an effective blocker for me against yellow. Oh, what? Okay, there's not a lot of chess to be played here. Somehow I completely missed that. I can't wait to see what the chat says here. Green said against yellow. Oh, that was the Russian. Oh, we have someone who can translate Russian. Nice. Okay, let me go take a look at the chat. New players are getting a sub button later when the stream picks up. Yeah, we got a plan for that. Nice. Okay, I just lost a lot of points, guys, so I'm sad. I mean, that wasn't really bad luck, per se. It was my own fault for doing this pawn pushing opening when I should have been blocking out against yellow, blue, and green. Okay, I didn't think they'd make such a concerted effort against me early. But if I didn't move that pawn up and let yellow take their, if I took that, I would still get checkmated by yellow, and if I waited for him to take, my king would be out in the open. So, it's just annoying that green would do something like that, because by his own hand he killed me. Okay, but he didn't get any credit for it. Yellow got all the credit. So you really don't want to kill someone and not get any of the credit for it. Okay. Luckily my rating didn't go down yet, so if I finish this game and win it before the other game finishes, I could stay at 1900. All right. Okay. By the way, if you guys hear any fun sounds coming, like drilling, yelling, knocking, I can't control that. I live in China and this is a busy area, so I apologize in advance for any of that. Okay. Okay, and since yellow fianchettoed on this side, I kind of want to go for one of those king safety strategies where I just put a bunch of pieces around my king. Hi. Hi, I will say in the chat. Oh, they disabled chat communication. By the way, can you guys see this anymore? Oh, you can see the chat communication. All right, good. Although someone disabled it, so that's unfortunate. All right. How long are you in China for? Oh, sorry, I think it's my turn. Let's take my turn first and then read the chat. Yes, people are already saying stuff about China. Okay. How long am I in China for? I've been in China for about 2 years, and right now, okay, if you're from the US, you'll understand this. If you're not, I'll have to explain it. Basically, there's something called AP tests, which are an advantage when applying to college if you have passed them or can show that you are proficient in a certain area. Okay, you can also get college credit for them. And basically, I teach AP courses. I teach AP Calculus, AP Statistics, and AP Economics here in a high school in a special program for kids who are planning to go to America for study, for university. And so I'm enjoying that right now. I don't have any plans to not be in China in the future, but I don't have any plans to be here forever either. So I'm sort of just taking it as I go. Does the rating number really matter? Well, I mean, rating, yes, it does matter. Okay, rating is sort of an indicator. Okay. Okay, people say rating is just a number. Well, yes, it's just a number, but the number means something, right? The number means, given that you have a certain rating, your tendency to win is higher than other players. Okay. It's possible that you just won by luck, several times, like my first game today. But over time, your rating will settle closer to where you are actually placed. Now, actually, there's sort of an exception right now in 4-player chess because ratings have not settled yet. In fact, ratings are continuing to diverge away from the mean as more players join the game. So, the player who's at 2100 right now, it's possible that their rating should be 2100. It's possible that their rating should be 2700, but I think we can say that it's not lower than 2100. Oh, I got an indication that my rating is now 1811. Nice. Oh, and it changed it in real time in the game. Okay, so now I'm not as threatening to them, as long as they can see that too. To whom does the rating matter? Well, it matters to you as the player. Okay. I mean, is the 4-player chess community big enough to have invited 4-player chess tournaments based on rating? No. Could that happen in the future? Probably not. It's just 4-player chess. It's a casual mode. I mean, I care about ratings. I care about looking at who's doing the best in the world, and if I'm looking in the games, I might start following a game. If I'm choosing which game to start looking at, I'll choose a game that has strong players in it to start looking at. And how do I know which players are strong? Well, rating is an indication of strength, so I'll look at people with a high rating, right? How can we play it? I'll post a link. I hope they won't target me if I post a link in my own channel. That is where you can play the game. Okay, obviously you will need to make an account on chess.com, but once you do that, it's no problem. And you'll be separately rated for, both 4-player chess and any other chess mode that you decide to play. All right. lot of pieces getting taken already. And since yellow is actually the scariest player right now, I don't actually want a castle. Unless I can get a lot more pieces over there. What I do see is like a lack of control of the center here. So I'm thinking about just running my D pawn and seeing how far I can get that. Oh, it's my turn. Okay. Always move when it's your turn. That's another tip I can say. If you want to save time, move when it's your turn. Okay. Let me get this knight in a more favorable position. Also, this is like a new experience for me, playing so many games back to back. I usually like play one and take a break, but I mean these games have been really short too. But a lot of the time, one game can take like 45 minutes, and that is pretty taxing. All right, yellow moving his king over. Looks like yellow's actually a pretty good player. I'm a fan of what he's doing. Oh, red castling though. I don't know about that. I guess he can block with his knight if I attack there. Okay, fine. Yeah, I do think it's interesting that yellow or that red castled queenside there. I mean, it makes sense because he's blocked off with me here. Yeah, and he moved the knight there anyway, so my attack would have been fruitless. And I don't exactly want to move this c8 pawn yet either, because that will give yellow's bishop a little bit more. I'll give it these extra few squares from which to attack me. I won't be able to put my queen on these squares, or my rook. And by the way, since yellow's queen is on this file right now, this 11th file, like, castling is basically suicide. If anything, like, well, luckily my king's safer on light squares right now because red doesn't have a light squared bishop. But if anything, I would try and just move my king over and not castle to leave my rook in the defense of this file right now. Were you playing StarCraft previously? Yes. I mean, StarCraft 1 was probably... I mean, okay, let me start with the War Elephant question because that's relevant. The War Elephant name came from Age of Empires 2. It was like one of the first games I ever owned. And I really loved playing with the War Elephant when I was like 10 years old, and that's been my username for everything since. Or every game at least. And then moving on in RTS, I got into StarCraft 1 at some point, and obviously used War Elephant for that username. Let's see here. Do king over. Obviously used War Elephant for my StarCraft name, and I mean, Twitter wasn't around till more recently, around the time of StarCraft 2. And I went to Penn State University, and I played for my Penn State's collegiate Penn State team, StarCraft team, which was fun. I mean, I wasn't the best, I would say I was like mid-tier masters when like I think there was a player or two on my team who was in grandmasters. But I think I would still play for the team like in the 2v2s and sometimes the 1v1s in our matches. But I certainly wasn't the best. Of course, I played Zerg, best race, both StarCraft 1 and 2. In Russian, the bishop is an elephant. Oh, by the way, in Chinese, the bishop is an elephant too. That's interesting. I wonder if there's anything going on there. I should get a sponsorship for that big water jug. Yes, I should. Definitely. All right, so can I promote? It's so close. I can promote next turn, perhaps. If green tries to promote, I can even promote this side, and if red takes, I'll promote anyway. Looks like I can promote now. Let's see if people instantly team up. No. Not yet. Let's see if green takes. Let us see. I mean, yellow could be planning to swoop in here with green. So I think it needs extra defense down here now. Let's just come back to here, I guess. I'm protecting the pawn. I'm also putting a little bit more pressure onto yellow. Okay, I can move this rook up and threaten checkmate. All right, and I do like yellow's fortress here as well. Looking at it now, it's pretty cute. So if I move the rook up, he can move this up, his pawn up too. Takes. Okay, he will have actually a pretty good defensive setup there if I go for it. But it doesn't hurt me to do this, so let's just make him do it. Right? Okay, and I have no rush to move this knight because it's pinned. So it's not like he's forcing my hand just yet. Okay, as far as red's king setup, it's pretty safe as well. Since he blocked stuff off with me. Can't actually move that pawn now. I can go protect this rook though. I think in some cases I will need the king's protection of this rook. Okay, yellow winning more material. All right, it looks like green's basically crumbling now, so I want to start attacking yellow here. Especially since it's basically very opportunistic to do so right now. And now green can get some compensation here. And I don't want to trade queens, so I'm going to move the knight out to here and hopefully then bag this pawn in a second. As far as red goes, like, yeah, he blocked himself off against me, but he also, in doing so, blocked himself off against me, so he can't really munch at me now. while I'm doing this. Go back and check the chat here. I went away from some time and you came back to 1800s. Yes, yes I did. I lost to several 1200s, and that's what happens. So guys, I mean, if you're seeing high jumps in your rating, okay, I mean, obviously you should be able to beat some 1200s. I'm pretty mad about that game. But I would not throw in the towel if you lose a couple points here and there. Seems like green is starting to target me now. But green, we just worked together so well. Okay, but he is now in check, so it doesn't matter. Is there anything terrible I can do to green? I don't want to, though. Here's the time where I could, like, take a pawn of greens. Oh my. Definitely didn't see that checkmate. So now green is completely done. Gone. Out. What have you. Well, now it's like I took green's pawn anyway. Because it's gone. It's dead. Like, I could have taken a green pawn there, but he's getting killed anyway. Those pieces are not going to affect me, 1. And 2, I would say I want him to live as long as possible because now it's going to be easy for red and yellow to promote more pawns over here. Okay, see red's just starting to clear that way for those pawns to start promoting, so that's not going to be a happy day. Alright, and now, I mean, say I like do eliminate yellow here. So far I've given up a knight to do so and taken a bishop. Say I do eliminate yellow, I'll still have to deal with all these extra queens from red. So I wish that blue had been able to survive a bit longer. I mean green. I also hope that blue survives a bit longer, in fact. This is one of my deepest wishes in life. Okay, now tactics-wise, I can take this knight and maybe trade queens. Not a huge fan of that. Alright. Red is slowly promoting stuff. Check. I mean, this looks like it should be lethal soon. Looks like basically a mate in 2, I think. Check here, check here. If I check here first, you can take the pawn though. Check here, he goes there, doesn't help. Check from here, he takes the pawn. Rook doesn't do much. Alright, let me just take this then. Save the check. I didn't see a force mate there. That was like that would happen in a reasonable amount of time. Okay, well that's going to be a force mate that happens in a very reasonable amount of time. That should be mate there. Yeah. Alright, I would not recommend what red just did. I mean, he killed a person, but he didn't get the points for it. Okay. If you are going to spend your time killing people, make sure you get the points for it. Okay, unless it's just absolutely imperative that they die now. And otherwise, like, I'm just gonna start going on red now. He's gonna have more queens than me, but I think I can start doing stuff before that happens. Maybe. That was weakening. That was very weakening. Now I have bishop check, Stark squared bishop. My rook can come in. It's looking like I'll have enough time. And now red could have bought himself more time. He could have made it take longer for me to kill yellow, and he could have had maybe an extra queen at this point and had easy ways to disrupt me. Now I'm just going to open everything I can and start blasting. Oh, I can't do that yet, though. His queen's covering there. Okay. Let me start pinning some stuff. Queen trade would be good, I think. Give a check here. Set a pin here. Set a pin here. This queen should be able to probably come to the defense of this pawn here. Looks like a mistake. Yeah, I do have to worry about this rook right now. I think I can just check and then take this other pawn. Okay, actually, I'm looking at the score now. And I can probably resign soon. Well, I'm exactly 20 ahead. That's unfortunate. Let's trade that. Trade that. Exactly 20 ahead. Okay, I definitely messed this up somehow. But if I can just get 1 point, like, just 1 point. Maybe if I can't get a point before he makes the queen, I think I should just resign and get the draw while I can. Would have been better. Would have been better to go there, and then there. Shoot. All right. Well. All right. This is like a do or die now. Gotta get that 1 point. Gotta get that 1 point. May I have one of your points, good sir? Just one, no more. How does one lovely God-fearing point sound to you? Just this 1 point is what I want. Just 1 point. One point. All right, I don't think I can get it. Yeah, I messed up earlier. I thought I would have more pieces to do this. So I'm just gonna resign, and that will cause a draw. Like if I let him get more queens, or if I let him take anything now, then it will be getting out of hand. And I will just lose, because I'm going to lose this game now anyway. Okay. Wonder if I can stick it out a little bit longer. Threaten this knight now. He's not going to bite on that. Okay, well, he is a higher rating than me, so I'm just gonna resign and call it a draw. Okay, I'll still get the points from the other two players, so. It didn't come up with my change in score here. Weird. That should be the game over, right? Okay. Let me refresh and take a look at the chat. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, after I had a good attack on his king, that was a tough position. You know, you have two queens and two rooks, and the best way to manage them to get some sort of advantage. I should have been able to get at least a pawn there, if not checkmate him somehow. I had a chance with my bishop to f2, not g1. Hard for me to visualize the exact position, but TNS, I do agree with you that there was something I could have done there. Almost certainly. All right. Yeah, Daniel, you can disable the chat to avoid teaming. I mean, it does something to avoid teaming, right? And actually, I'm going to take a quick, like, 2-minute break, bathroom break. Take a little more water before I do so. And I'll be back with more 4-player chess. Okay, so write any questions you have now. All right, let's see what you came up with. Water jug, stay strong. Yes. How old are you? What do you do for a living? I am 25, so I've been out of college for 3 years, and most of that time has been spent working in China. And right now I teach 3 AP courses in English to some of the better Chinese students who are planning to study abroad in America. So they have pretty good English already. And I teach them calculus, statistics, and economics. How much do you value bishops to rooks? Do you tend to castle left or right more? Good question, Shadow. And well, in this game, bishops are actually weighted equally to rooks in terms of points. So that tells you right there that bishops are better in this mode than they are in normal chess. And I would say when there are more pieces on the board, bishops are better. Okay, rooks need long open files, and they are more clumsy at defending the king. So, a Fianchetto is a very efficient way to defend the king, and only a bishop can do that. But in the late game, I would favor rooks more. So basically like endgame 1 versus 1 situation, like what I just had against that other player. How much do you value bishops to rooks? Do you tend to? I just answered that. Nice. Do you speak Mandarin from Zeitgeist? I do. And I can show you proof of that as well. Do I have that here, actually? If I can find this stuff. It's in my package of documents. If you're ever thinking about coming to China, you will need a lot of documents to do so. Okay, this is not my actual certificate, but this is a copy of it. Not sure what the certificate is right now, but this is the. I'll try to make it so you guys can see that. This is a Chinese proficiency test, examination score report, and this is a level 5 test. So there are 6 levels issued by the Chinese government, and it's sort of like, I would say to be level 5, I think there's like 2,500 words you need to know. And there are 3 sections, not everything but speaking actually, reading, writing, and listening. So you have to pass all those sections. And to get to level 6, well, you need to memorize like probably more than twice as many words. So I'm not there yet. But I'm also, pretty lazy, and I like to play chess. So once I got to like the point where I'm fluent enough to speak and carry on my own life in China, like just today I was at the bank making some changes to my bank account, and I'm fluent enough to do all of that. So once you get to the point where you don't desperately need to learn anymore, it's like, well, the practical use of the language has been achieved, and how much more do I really want to learn? Ideally, I would love to be able to read the classics in Chinese, not have any translation, because reading translations is always a boring thing to do. Whereas reading the original text is fun, like reading ancient Chinese poetry is fun, but all of that stuff would require me to like get to a higher level. So that's my procrastination story about Chinese. TNS said, have you found starting first, second, etc. to be most beneficial for your normal style? Well, I would say no matter what, going first is the best, right? Because people have less time to react to what you're doing. Right? If you want to fianchetto on both sides, it's probably not going to happen if you're going last, because someone else is going to fianchetto on the same diagonal before you, and you'll have to either, hope that they won't trade or just not fianchetto. So, I think no matter what style you're using, it would be best to go first. So, let's see. It does look like I have some dropped frames, so I'm going to stop recording now and see if that helps. Is anyone else seeing dropped frames? The reason it'll be okay to stop recording is because Twitch will save the VOD anyway. Let me stop recording and see if that's better. Yeah. Okay, that got my frames per second a bit higher, and I'm not dropping them anymore. By the way, guys, if you see any improvements I could make or anything like drop frames, let me know. Fianchettoing bishops, or I guess the correct Italian would be fianchetto, but in English it's okay to say both. Fianchetto and fianchetto are both acceptable, and I'm used to saying fianchetto. I'll type that. Fianchettoing is when you move the pawn to the, well, if say I'm looking at this example here, I would move, oh, actually I can go back to my chess analysis board and I'll show you what a fianchetto is, in case you are unawares. Let's see. Do have to fix some stuff here now with the, yeah. All right, looks good now. So fianchettoing would be this. That would be a king side fianchetto, and this would be a queen side fianchetto over here on the left. It's basically just the slightly less standard way of developing a bishop. Usually the most standard way of developing a bishop in normal chess is to move the pawns in front of the king or queen and develop your bishops out from those diagonals. But you can also fianchetto. It's just more of a flank opening, so you're not taking control of the center with pawns as quickly. Okay, Daniel says frames are skipping a bit. Yeah, is it any better now that I stopped recording? Because I was streaming and recording at the same time before, like recording a copy to my own hard drive, and I think that made it worse. There shouldn't be anything wrong with my internet connection. It's just my my computer. Okay, TNS says Grazi. Where are you from, TNS? I'm curious. Did he already say? I don't see anything. How did you learn Mandarin and how long did it take, and can you say something? Okay, that's a little bit off topic, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that question, but I will answer it for now. Mandarin, I did a minor in college, so that gave me like a few classes worth of experience. And I've been living in China for over 2 years, so that's a huge improvement as well. One thing you have to get past though is like the local people in each place you go will have a slightly different accent and slightly different way of saying things. So it's best to learn your Chinese from someone who speaks like standard Beijing accent, which is what the whole country is supposed to know how to do in theory, but they don't. How often do you try to early queen? Oh, so I should also say something in Mandarin, right? For Zeitgeist. Let's see, what do you want me to say? I can teach you guys some Mandarin. I honestly don't know, you know. Okay, from Tennessee, TNS, cool. How often do you try to early queen from Shadow Cluster? Yeah, I tried to early queen one game. I generally only do it in like low level games where I know people don't coordinate very much. But even got punished for that today earlier, and I lost like almost 100 points. So I rarely try to early queen. Most of the times I'm early queening, I'm actually like trying to stop someone else from early queening. And if you're trying to stop someone else from early queening, then the other players usually won't mess with you because then you are like sort of doing the work for them to stop someone from early queening. So they're not going to mess with you while you do that. Otherwise, they're just helping that other player to queen. Okay, but if you are the one trying to early queen, then it's possible that others could start teaming up on you. Okay, so that's about fianchettoing and other stuff. All right, any other questions for now? I'll otherwise just get into the game. They'll probably play like 1 or 2 more games today and then end the stream. Probably go about till 7 o'clock. Right now it's 6:22. Say I go trough all this before you wake up. I don't know what you mean, Zeitgeist. I go through all this before you wake up. I think I would need more context because, you know, who is I and who is you? I mean, if you're saying I go through all this, like my life is so hard, you can say like, 我这么困难. And then before you, I'm just going to break this into 2 pieces. Before you wake up is, before you wake up, I guess you could say 起床之前. 起床之前 is before you wake up. Yeah, I'm not sure what the whole sentence is trying to say, but I just broke it into 2 pieces. The first part would be 我这么困难, and then 起床之前. Yeah. But if you want to pay attention to Chinese, you have to pay attention to your tones as well. Okay. Sounds like a topic for another day. Yeah, you guys can keep asking questions and I'll keep answering them until the game starts here though. I mean, a lot of the problem with translating something like that is a lot of it is contextual. So yeah, if it's a lyric from a song, like I would need some context there. But I can also type it, right? So the first part, oh, okay, actually, the game starting here. First part would be like, he's fianchettoing there. I'm going to block it off here. go through all this before you wake up. Actually, if I was going to write that, I think I understand what you mean now. If I was going to write that in Chinese, I think I would switch the order. Like I would say, before you wake up, I'm doing all this shit, or I'm going through all this stuff in my life. So let me see. All right, well, red got off double fianchetto, and I can't fianchetto on either side yet, just yet, unfortunately. I can get a little bit of a c pawn push here, though, and I think I will, because I want to develop the knight anyway, and that will be useful for me. Looks like no one's really stopping green either here, so that's unfortunate. Okay, I'm moving this knight out simply to counter the knight pushes from yellow. Okay. That's not good. I'll have to block this off, actually. All right, let me finish typing this here. JPK, no, you cannot resign unless it's your turn. Yeah, that used to be a good strategy, and it was broken. But now you can only resign on your own turn. So yeah, they thought of that. But prior to that, yeah, I agree with you. That would have been the optimal thing to do. After you move, it's not your turn anymore, right? Someone else's turn. So yeah, before you move. I'm not in a good place this game. Gave up that c-pawn for nothing. Let's see. Don't actually have to move that bishop yet. All right, since I'm down material, I'm gonna try like a super turtley style this game. I'm gonna hide my head in my shell and just wait. All right, yeah. Here's a translation for you, Zeitgeist. If you want to just translate that line, I typed it out here. I think that would be a pretty good translation of that line, though I don't know the whole context of the song. Um, any other things going on here? How often does Zugzwang happen in four-player chess? Like all the time, especially when you're getting owned, right? The only moves that you can make are moves that make your position worse. So, oh, it's my turn. Oh my god. Thank you. Thank you. If it wasn't for Rogue, I wouldn't have noticed that. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, some things like this can be expected the first stream, right? At least I didn't completely time out. Oh god. This is insanity right now. Insanity. Yeah, I'm not happy at all with this position I put myself in, unfortunately. What could be the cause of that move now? Is it just trying to get red to take here? No, red's more interested in promoting. Okay. I mean, yeah, he's double attacking this pawn now, but I can defend it, right? I can actually defend it in a better way, even by bringing this knight back, and I'm also attacking his rook now. Sad his rook didn't retreat along the same diagonal. Now I'm going to cover this because I think he's going to try and bring the knight in for more damage. Okay, and I would say it looks like I'm the weakest player right now. In terms of position. Okay, as soon as red finishes promoting some queens, I'm sure he's just going to start slapping me around as well. So I need to find a way to get blue off, to get yellow off of me before that happens here. Try something like this. Also, what happened to that last game that was a draw? I was at 18-11 before that. I beat two people and I drew. And it never came up with the result, and I still have 18-11 rating. That was really weird though. The way it gave me a draw. It just ended the game and it didn't give me any notifications. Okay, so it looks like yellow is basically all inning to, or committing to all inning me, fortunately. And I might have to sacrifice some of my queen side here because of it. I mean, ideally, like green would come to my defense because if I die, then red and yellow can make infinite pawns. So, but the problem is green like promoted an extra queen and then didn't do anything ever. I mean, red could even be taking some pieces right now too, if he wanted. That's good though. All right. Oh, but I need this bishop to defend now though. No. Oh, I mean, I'm dealing with yellow here, so I have to like trade this, right? All right, now green can start hitting yellow a bit. That's good. My turn. Does not feel good to get all into like this, but there's not much I can do about it right now. If I go here, my pawn's pinned, so let's just run away now, I guess. Like, not only am I getting all in by yellow, but I'm also getting teamed on by red. I mean, red hasn't done anything directly yet to team me, besides trade that bishop, but, okay. Now I'll probably take this rook, though. Or, move the pawn forward and attack yellow. It's nice of him, I guess. This rook will hang. I mean, yeah, and with green doing nothing, I mean, it'll be tough for him to win. Green may still win, but I guess I wouldn't bet on it. Oh, there's only one legal move, so not too bad. Now red can just take this queen, though. Yeah. Well, one legal move again, so let's make it. Red will have mate against me again. But I do like Red's chances now because he has wiped out a lot of yellow. He will probably get the mate on me, and then he will have a lot of points with which to fight green, so that's good. But it looks like he no longer has mate in 1 now, does he? Oh no, this will still be mate because I can't get out of it, right? But yellow will be able to take his queen afterward, or his rook. Right. So what if I come back here though? Then I'm not exactly dead. And for me right now, it's still important to do the best I can because if I can collect, a few more points here and there, then I might beat one of the other players who gets knocked out later. Let's see. Oh, hold on. I know what you're talking about. Shadow. Let me fix that. Fix that here in a sec. Second delay, right? I take that off. Now it should be visible. Yeah, I mean, I'd say yellow played a little bit irrationally here. He can't really win the game now. And that was a sick move by green, getting that pawn up there. So I guess you could say green's helping me, but not very effectively. Not in a way that will cause me to have a chance in this game. I think yellow will checkmate now. Or red will checkmate now. Simply move queen in like this. Okay. Yeah, that also worked. Alright, so looks like I'm 4th. I think green will be able to get 17 points before the end of the game. But I'm so curious about that drawn game that I just had. I wonder if the game just glitched out and then I don't get any result for that. That would be kind of sad. At the end of the game, it didn't come up with the scoreboard. I'm going to leave this up because I want to see how they do, but let me go back to the chat here. Yeah, Daniel, that's what happened. I sort of messed up on, I left that analysis board up and it somehow glitches it over. Alright, so let's summarize the stream. Won a game for basically free. Lost a game against 1200s. We drew a game for first. And this game I think we're going to get last. And wow, green's actually doing quite well here. Yeah, red has 73 though. So now red can just resign. And, if I had gotten one more piece, green would get last. So I think green, he waited way too long. So I will definitely also criticize green's play here. I mean, it would be a good play if this game was about who could be the last man standing, but he waited way too long to start attacking yellow and red. Okay, he moved way too slowly to compensate for them, and well, you can see by the end he barely even got into 3rd place. So yeah. And then this last game we got 4th. So not a great showing for the first stream. I might play one more, but I am getting a bit tired as well. Are there any other questions? Yeah, Granmo, 53-point hit hurts, but I'm not too worried about it. I know I'm around the 1900 skill level, mid 1800s, 1900. For the past few weeks, I've always moved up with the leaders overall, and I think it does. I'm usually sitting about like 200 points below like the #1 person. So I can definitely tell I'm not the best, but I can tell that I'm like, able to continue improving as they do. People are saying one more. Probably make that happen. I think we should try and end on a high note, like one more. Go for the win, right? And I think what I'd like to do is like spend a few minutes before each stream like preparing some kind of topic to talk about for that stream relating to the game. Help you guys out with some sort of aspect that I think is interesting. That's what I do for my YouTube videos anyway. Today we talked about those king groupings. Actually, I'm gonna do a standard king grouping, a king fortress game in this game. See how that goes. So I'm gonna set up my king. I'm gonna put a lot of pieces around my king, and see what happens. I'm not gonna worry about red doing weird things or blue promoting his queen. I'm just gonna let things be, and I'm gonna set up a nice little fortress over here and start pushing some pawns. Try the dubs. Yeah, I do want to try the dubs opening. Oh, so you got to tell me what it is again, though. What is the dubs opening? It's like what, knight on f3 and knight on f4? Is that it? What is red doing? He just did not like green's b pawn. Green's b pawn just had to be removed at the beginning of the game. Is the oh yeah, looks like you guys can still see the chat there. But someone disabled it again, so let me see. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go for the dubs opening here. Knight f3, knight f4, yeah. What is the Chinese equivalent of c'est la vie? Oh, it's my turn. Let me do that first. What is the Chinese equivalent of c'est la vie? Okay, so now you're testing my French too. C'est la vie means like this is life, right? Or such is life, right? Like when you have a problem, tell me if I'm wrong. You say like "c'est la vie," can't do anything about it, such is life. Is that right? If that's true, then I can probably translate it. That is what it means. Okay. Um, hmm. Hmm. Okay. Obviously, that's not something you could directly translate, so I'd have to think about in that context what would a Chinese person say, to sort of share that meaning. And well, now I'm actually a bit sad I went for the Dubs opening because I would prefer this knight to be back on f14, guarding this pawn. Now that this file is open for red and blue. But I'll stick to my guns. I'll play the opening. It's fine. Say la vie. Okay, let me think. Oh, actually, I did see like a cartoon before with it was like a anime girl like smoking a cigarette, like doing "c'est la vie" in Chinese, and it was like a very expressive way of saying it. It was like "sheng ming ah," like "sheng ming" means life, and then you're just like saying "ah," life. I would say that's a good way of expressing it. "Sheng ming ah," yes. Yeah, look, now red's already teeing up on this, and I only have one knight defending this pawn, where I could have two if I was not playing this opening. But I do like that my knight's on f4 here. That's like, a little bit more developed than I usually get, a little more aggro. So that's cool. I would like to be pushing more pawns right now, so I'm going to do that. I'm so jealous of Red's positioning of his queen. It's like super good with this bishop battery and super good with this rook battery. But he just hasn't moved his pawns out yet, so he's not going to be making any queens. All right. I do like this knight f4 though. I'm gonna give this a whirl right now. Um, let's see, Zeitgeist. I feel like that that song is not Chinese. Koi no Fuge. That sounds like Japanese or something. That looks very Japanese to me. Um, and for C'est la vie, I would translate it like this. Something like that. These guys are slow. Slow movers. And it doesn't really show in their time, it's just that they're always getting to that amount of time that they don't have much left. They're always using up their increment, but they're not like moving. They're not like spending more time on it. Their actual time. They're just getting to that point and then moving. Don't mind me. Just making a queen or two. No big deal. I do like this because anytime I was worried about this knight on f4 being chopped, but now I see that this bishop is going to be useful. So now I won't have to fianchetto this bishop if I'm doing this opening. I can just cover the knight with it. You know, it'd be great. It'd be great if red fianchettoed his bishop, I promoted, and then he did something else, and then I just checkmated him. That would be sweet. That would be bonkers. Yeah, there's always a stream delay, so that's just Twitch. I think Twitch naturally has like a 10-second stream delay, so you're never gonna be able to chat in like 100% real time on Twitch. That is the way that Twitch.com does things. Where is red going with this? Well, I can chop blue's knight here if I need to. And then attack red's rook. It's up to blue to defend that and the bishop. Okay, yeah, that was what I was thinking he should do. Move that bishop back. Nice move. Nice move. Okay. Green is going for the setup that I was thinking I would go for. Almost exactly. Yeah, like push these two center pawns and get those knights right there. That's difficult to attack. Yeah, it's a little bit easier to attack me. Not too much easier, but a little bit. What your Google translation? Your translation is saying this is life. When I actually did think of the one you're thinking of. You're writing there, Zeitgeist. But I feel I was just taking my own understanding of C'est la vie, which is you're sort of saying like, it's less of a like. Oh, is that my turn? No. Oh. To my understanding, C'est la vie is a little bit less like, well, that's just life, than what that Google Translate is saying. That Google Translate is saying, well, that's just life. Get used to it, that kind of thing. But I think C'est la vie is like, almost being churlish about what you're saying, like saying, well, oh, that's life. A little bit more laid back about it. But I don't know. Tell me more about C'est la vie. Just sounds like a very laid back expression. I still cannot take that knight. It's so annoying. Why? Why do you not let me take your knight, friend? Okay. I'm going to challenge Red's things here. Let me see. Dudes trying to have different keyboards for computers with their alphabet. I was actually looking into this recently. I mean, today they just use the same. They use the same keyboards as everyone else. But I was looking into their past when they had to use like typewriters. Oops, I can't go there. Like, what did their typewriters look like back in the day? And those were pretty complicated. But today, like, there is a way of Romanizing their alphabet such that um, you can get away without having to change your keyboard style. And that's what I've been using to type to you guys. Obviously, I don't have any special keyboard or anything. I'm just typing in Chinese. And the system is called Pinyin. So every like word, every character will have a way of Romanizing it, and just because of the way Chinese works, many characters have the same pronunciation. And what differentiates them is how you draw the character. So what you're basically saying is that, let me go back and type this word again. What you're basically saying is that I'm going to type in this pronunciation, and I'm going to select the character that matches what character I want. So one pronunciation could have like, 100 different characters. All right, should I trade for that rook? Probably not. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I'm just like moving back and forth. Should probably come up with a more long-term strategy here, like making more queens or something. Wow, that was huge. For me, I like that. Thank you, Red. Maybe Red was just time pressured with 0.4 seconds left. That's another thing I need to pay attention to. So Red is getting low on time, so I should keep a queen, nearby enough that I could at least like mate him in 2 or something if I needed to. And let's see. Things I can do right now to improve my position are few. I don't think that actually helps, but I'm going to do it. So you need to stop green from promoting too much here. Interesting. I do like the knight f4 move. It's cool. I think there are ways of exploiting it, but these players do not do so, so that's good. I think the knight f4 is pretty good against middle of the road players. Yeah. I think I can take out red now. I can also play with my food a bit more. Because anytime I kill red, I do have to give up one of my queens here. And right now, this queen's fine because this pawn, this pawn's pinned. I just gave up now. I was going to do this, right? Yeah. Guess that's not that good of a trade for me. It just gets me one or two more pawns. Ooh. Okay. I think red did sacrifice the most for that to get that to happen, so I mean, I'm not happy he got the points there, but part of me is like saying it was somewhat deserved there. Though I do get the benefit of getting an extra queen here, or taking his queen. So now it should be pretty tough for him. I'm going to prevent the queening. And I think if I just take out red now, then I can resign and green will not get anything. Okay, green was similar to the last green player, very slow to mobilize his forces in this game. Very, very slow to do so. I can probably go make another queen too if I need to here. I'm going to deliver this check because I'm planning on taking this pawn anyway. Actually, am I going to take that pawn? Seems dubious. Assume red will go to the left here. And I have a mate. Let's do that. Okay. Okay, so it looks like we made it this time. Green can only take 1 point here, so I can resign. Alright, I will resign and give second place to red. Okay, so got some of the points back to close to 1800. Yeah, I don't think I got credit for that one game that I drew and won against 2 other people, unfortunately. What is my regular rating on chess.com? By the way, guys, just if you have any last minute questions, ask them now, because I think I'll talk for maybe 5 or 10 more minutes and then close out the stream. But anyway, thanks for being on, and I really appreciate anyone who tuned in, even if it was just for part of the time. I know some of you tuned in for the entire stream, so thanks for that. Let me... I don't actually know how many people are watching the stream, so... someone said 25 people, so that's great for the first stream. I'm just going to go check my dashboard here. Probably should not let everyone see that. All right, still, yeah, like a couple people, around 25 people. Let me pop out the chat again here. No, where's my chat pop out? Oh, there it is. Okay, sweet. Okay. When is the next stream? Well, I'm going to make Wednesday nights, Wednesday at 5 p.m. China Standard Time, 2 a.m. Pacific, and 9 a.m. GMT. That's going to be a standard stream every week, and I want to add another time. But I want to start off with 2 streams a week, but I'm still thinking about when I want to make the next time. Would you guys prefer it to be like sometime on the weekend or sometime during the week? I'd like to get some opinions here. What is your view on the opening? Well, that's sort of a wide question with a lot of answers that I don't know if I can talk about all of them right now. But in the opening, I would say there's a couple goals. Part of them are the same as normal chess, which is development and speed of development. Okay, king safety is also important, even more so than normal chess, because if you get teamed, you would need your king to be even safer to withstand attacks from multiple players. And in the opening, you also want to start moving pawns forward, because in this game, it's easier to promote than it is in 2-player chess. Okay, and promoted queens are just really strong and overpowered at one point. How often are you going to stream? I think I just answered that. Do the Chinese smoke a lot of marijuanas? That is marijuana. I would say no. I mean, some do, but I think with the much harsher penalties for having any sort of illegal drugs, okay, China is of course an illegal drug, or marijuana is of course an illegal drug in China. The penalties are a lot higher in China than in somewhere like the Netherlands, or I mean Zeitgeist. I'm guessing you're from the Netherlands, since you said something about the Dutch translator, and or America. So there's definitely a much more deterrent there. People are saying during the week. Etar, thanks for tuning in. If you just catch the back end of the stream, you can watch this. It'll be uploaded to YouTube and also Twitch. Weekend from Rahulk. Yes, Leo, videos are still going on YouTube. And oh, okay. You're talking about how did you feel about the opening? Yeah, I enjoyed the opening. I'm going to use it again sometime. Yeah, I'll be testing out that opening more. It was fun. And it wasn't too much different from openings I normally play, but putting that knight on f4 instead of f1 can be relevant a lot of the time. But what you're doing there is you're sacrificing a little bit of king safety for a little bit more of activity, and what you need is going to depend on the situation. but I think overall his opening is a little bit of an improvement on what I normally do. So on average, not looking at the situation, his opening is going to be better more of the time. But sometimes I'll have to use mine because you need more defense. Okay. Um, so I'm seeing more people saying weekend, and that's fine. It will probably be around the same time, just on Saturday or Sunday. So like 5 p.m. Chinese time. Um, if it really seems to be that more people would prefer a different time of day, um, I mean, most of the week I'm working earlier, um, and actually I work on Saturdays too in the morning. Sunday morning might be possible sometime then. Pineapple, but pineapple, you already got your weekday. You got at least one weekday, bro. It's Wednesday, right? Um, all right. And so thanks, guys. Any last minute questions? Okay. And one thing with chess.com is they kind of want to set me up for the same times each week so that I can be hosted by them and such. Um, at the same time every day or week. But if it seems that people need different times, I can also try and move it around. But I know not everyone is here, and a lot of the people who are not watching are from the US, and they might prefer a different time as well. So I can try and work on that. And what else? JPK says rating. I think my chess.com rating is around 1800 or 1700. Depends on whether you check Blitz or otherwise. And if you go see the video I made about my in real life chess, I would say I'm like close to 2,000 FIDE at this point. Yeah, maybe around 2,000 FIDE. But I always blunder something sometimes. So cool, and thanks, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Twitter or the YouTubes. Yeah, sometimes the comment sections are a little tough to check because there's a lot of spamming going on there. But have a good night, have a good day, have a good afternoon wherever you are. And yeah, nice, Daniel. And so have a good night, guys. Do I play Go? I do play Go, yes. And it's a lot easier to play Go in China than it is in America, so it's fun to play here. As for my ranking, I'm probably pretty close to a 3-dan Go player now. Thank you, guys, and yeah, that's it for today. Tune in out.